We had a call last week from a young lady who had a child at a summer camp who broke her leg and didn't know what to do. Let's talk about summer camp injuries and how to handle them properly.
I'ma keep it real with you.
So what are some of the most frequent examples that we see when we talk about summer camps and kids being injured because of the negligence of their supervisors? A prime example is inadequate supervision, where you have a camp counselor who's supposed to be watching out for these kids who, what are they doing? They're flirting with their friends or playing around on their devices, not paying attention, leading to injury to the kiddos. You've got untrained staff. Again, we're talking about summer programs that typically are under budgetary constraints, and many times they're rushing to get things done, not properly taking the time to train their staff. Next, we've got inadequate safety protocols, where they're supposed to be doing certain things, but many times they're taking shortcuts. People aren't watching, so let me do something that puts kids in jeopardy. That happens a lot more than you think. So what do you do when you find out your kid has suffered that broken leg at the summer camp? Well, first things first, we hope that they're going to put you on notice that your child has been injured, because many times they don't do it. Many times they're trying to cover things up, which of course is terrible, almost as bad as the injury itself. So, okay, after the notification, of course, the next and most important thing thereafter is getting the necessary medical help that you need. You got to take care of those injuries so they don't become worse. They don't drag out. They don't become exacerbated because you're not getting adequate medical attention. So make sure you go see the doctor to make sure things get checked out properly. Really important next, document everything. When did they call you? When did they contact you? Was an incident report written or prepared? What proof do you have as related to the injury? So try to document as much as you can as related to these situations. Many times they're out of county, they're not in the city. It's going to be difficult to figure these things out, but do the best you can to compile as much information as possible. If there has to be a lawsuit sometime down the line, it's important to get as much information, witness statements, documents, pictures, as much as possible, just in case you have to move forward towards court. Next, this is really important. You have to make sure the incident is properly reported. I cannot tell you how many times I'm talking to parents where they are not reporting to the counselor, to the company, to those folks that are responsible that an incident has occurred. It's very important that you do that. As soon as you've documented, as soon as you've taken care of your child's injury, make sure you report to the folks who are responsible, this is what's happened. Put them on notice. Make sure that they know. Make sure there's no excuses that they can suggest, oh, well, we didn't know about it. You didn't tell us about it. Report the information, right? Put them on notice. One thing you've got to remember is that it's going to be your responsibility to show that the other side was negligent, leading to the injury to your child. So it's really important that you familiarize yourself with any of the camp policies and their procedures, just to make sure that you're adhering to those things and making sure that your kiddo didn't really do anything wrong. Now, one thing I want you to be aware of, there's probably going to be all kinds of disclaimers with regards to that documentation. Do not worry about disclaimers, okay? Don't worry about those things. If we can show that the company was negligent in their acts, they failed to supervise, or there was things that they should have done and they failed to, we're going to be able to get well beyond those disclaimers and get the necessary damages for yourself and for your kiddo. So one thing that's really important, talk to the staff, find out what happened. See what was going on. Keep as much of this information as you can with regards to people pointing fingers at each other, pointing out errors or things that shouldn't have happened. Maybe they omitted some things. If you can figure those things out and prove those things up, it's going to go a long way with regards to proving that the other side did something wrong. Document the injury. If you're taking your child to go see those necessary medical professionals, keep all those reports, keep those discharge notes, keep any kinds of documents to prove up the injury that you have to your kiddo. At some point, the other side's going to want to see what's happened. What are you claiming versus what is the documentation showing as related to the injury? So keep all of those medical records necessary so you've got them for down the line. So many times in these situations, these summer camps are ready to get these issues resolved, and you don't need any help other than talking to them and getting something done. I can tell you this, if you've got a serious injury, I'm going to tell you, get a lawyer, right? Many people like to try and save money as related to not hiring a lawyer. But if you've got a significant injury that you're dealing with, lawyers are going to do things with regards to painting a very complete picture, with regards to past medical pain and suffering, future medical expenses, lost wages, loss of enjoyment. There's all kinds of different ways with which to paint bigger, broader pictures. And many times when you've got the right lawyer, your damage model is going to increase significantly, which means your opportunity to get the right and proper compensation increases tremendously with a proper lawyer. Next, of course, you've got to timely file your claim, right? Don't sleep on these things, guys. In most situations, and if you're dealing with something here in the state of Texas, you're dealing with a 2-year statute of limitation. And while that is the law, you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait a long time with which to file your claim. You want to put everyone on notice. You want to get the insurance companies involved. You want to find out as quickly as possible, are you dealing with someone who wants to resolve this? Are they working in good faith? Or do you need that help? So find that out as quickly as possible, especially while your kid is still treating, to make sure your claim is headed in the right direction. So what can you do as a responsible family member to minimize the chance of future injury in the future? Do your research. What is the history of this camp? What are people saying online? What are the reviews telling us as related to this? Make sure you're putting the time in to make sure you get the best result potentially possible. Ask those tough questions. You're putting your child in the care of others. So ask them about their history. Ask them about their track record. Ask them what they plan to do if certain things happen. Test them out. See what the answers are. If you're getting a bad feeling, I would ask a lot more questions. And if the answers don't get better, go someplace else. And finally, talk to your child, right? I know we want to try and disengage with the kids and take the cell phones away and all that good stuff, especially when they're away from us. But make sure when you have the opportunity to speak to your child, talk to them. Hey, how's it going? Communicate. Are things going in the right direction? Are there any red flags? Make sure there's an open line of communication so that your child can let you know if there's an issue or not, and put you on notice so that you can start to ask questions on things that just don't sound right. So if you learned something in this video or you liked it, please let us know by liking, commenting, or subscribing, and let your friends know what's going on out there. My name's Attorney Darren Miller, and this is, you guessed it, DLAW.